Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show, presented first off by Haynes Total Healthcare, but also by Southern Ohio Sports Authority and Ohio Health. My name is John Bruce, along with Jeff Miller, and we're trying it again.
Take two.
Yeah, Dr. Elijah Green from Haynes Total Healthcare. How are you doing tonight?
I'm great. Again, out past my bedtime. That's
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So a couple weeks ago, we had Dr. Green in. It was a great interview. Went really well. And then it turns out somebody, maybe me, forgot to click one extra thing.
We all looked sharp, though.
Yeah.
That's what really matters. Right?
Looked great. Sounded great. I went with the mustache tonight to match.
And,
so
yeah,
Jeff didn't.
I'll come back next week.
I'll go with the straight mustache next week. So
yeah. So the positive about that is now I probably clicked the button way too many times to make sure that it does work. So it seemingly has worked the last couple of weeks. So a positive there. So Dr. Green, how long have you been with Haynes Total Healthcare?
Been with Haynes for about 2 years. 2 years at this point. Having fun, loving the team.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great time.
And as you said, it's a great time. It's a great environment over there. I can tell it's a good environment to work at.
Oh yeah.
One of the things I like is whenever I go in, and now I know there's a really good communication there anyway. I hadn't been there for like 2 years, and then I immediately come in, and the people at the desk know me by name. Now, Granted, they probably know who's coming in, but I'm sure there's other people.
No, that is just Carla. Carla memorizes faces and names, and she's on it.
And that
pretty much everybody. It's scary.
Yeah, and it makes you feel really welcome, and that's one of my favorite things about Haynes Total Healthcare. Besides, always feel better afterwards. So what do you do at Haynes Total Healthcare?
I'm a chiropractor first and foremost, but I also do dry needling. So Cassie and I, Cassie was on here I think 2 weeks ago. Yeah. She does dry needling, and so do I. And so we just kind of tag team that. Good time. So
how long, Elijah, have you been doing the dry needling? I mean, is that something as soon as you came to Haynes you were involved with, or is it something you were there for a while and then you guys started it, or how did that evolve?
I picked up the dry needling gig as soon as I came to the Haynes as well. I watched Cassie do it. I went to a seminar and learned the course and everything like that, and I got away with some needling. It's been great. I've learned a lot in the past 2 years of doing that, and it's been wonderful.
So how long have you been a chiropractor?
For 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah, 5 years.
And then we talked about it last time. So you're from Bell Fountain, right?
Yes, sir.
I got it right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. You didn't go French on me.
Yeah, I still prefer the French. Yeah.
Fontaine.
Yeah. So from Bell Fountain, then you went and you were involved in athletics throughout your college career as well.
Yeah,
so
I cheered at LU and
So while you were there, did you get fined for like dancing or like just looking happy in general?
No, I wasn't too much of a dancer. I just enjoyed the stunting aspect.
Yeah. Oh, that's
the stunting was fun. Had to learn to do a backflip too. That was don't ask me to do that now.
I will be honest. I did a cartwheel yesterday at school, and they're like, "Oh, you got to do a backflip next." I'm like, "No, I can barely do the cartwheel." So.
See, now John couldn't do a cartwheel before he started going out to Haynes. He couldn't do a cartwheel, and like a few trips out there, and the guy's doing cartwheels and backflips.
That's the power of hunter stretch therapy, I think. Yeah. It really gets you all limbered up to go out and do
because and I did a lot of stretching before I did it, and I don't feel horrible.
Don't pull a hammy when you do it. Get a good stretch, and you're ready to go.
So when you were down there, how much did you value, either getting worked on with a variety of the things that you guys do at Haynes Total Healthcare? How much, as a college athlete, did that benefit you, like doing extra stretching when you're at school, that you could see that can benefit the young athletes now?
Oh yeah, just avoiding injury. I wish we had more chiropractic care at the school, which LE should get on that. But whatever. But physical therapy department was great. I pulled a pec while I was cheering there, and they was great. So I love physical therapy and all of the conservative pain management techniques for injuries for athletes and all of that fun stuff. That's one of the things that really gets me fired up about care.
So when you talk about that. Saturday mornings, it's week 9 of the high school football season now.
They're probably feeling a little bit.
Yeah, you're feeling it. You want to go into week 10 strong. How can they work on that starting tomorrow morning?
Get adjusted, get dry needled, get a stretch. Just anything that you can do to get your body back up to as close to 100% as you can. Playing 4 quarters for 9 weeks, 36 total quarters over the course of that time is a lot, especially with some of the big boys around here. So just keep taking care of your body, get adjusted, needled, stretched, physical therapy when needed, cupping, which Cassie does as well. Did you get cupping?
I did get cupping.
With the dry needling? Yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah, and I think maybe because it was the first time, you could tell that I got cut for a long time after.
Oh, they do that. It's like a hickey. It's crazy.
Yeah. So when Jeff big on dry needling, obviously.
Huge.
We're actually working on getting him in for dry needling this upcoming week, so he's terrified.
I'm telling you,
work on it.
If you do it in you said your shoulder, right?
Yeah.
So you do it in the shoulder. Yeah. You're not seeing it go in. It's not
That's
bad.
true.
Yeah. I'll let you lay.
Maybe I'll wear a mask.
You won't feel mask.
Yeah, okay. You guys. If I come walking down the hallway with like some kind of clown mask on or something,
it'll fit the Halloween spirit for the practice. Yeah, it'll work. You don't feel the majority of the needles. I mean, you'll probably feel a few. Usually the prick when I put it in and everything like that. But typically it's a pretty smooth process, and especially if you don't see it, you hardly feel it. Now, like if you're getting an arm needled and watching me put them in, you're gonna feel that a little bit more because your brain's.
Well, we were talking before we went on the air, like the difference of like dry needling and acupuncture, because some people really don't understand that. I mean, will you kind of touch on that as far as how?
So it's the exact same needle that we're using. I would buy the same exact needles as an acupuncturist would. It's the principle that you're administering the needle. So like acupuncture is based a lot on Chinese medicine, which has been around for a very long time. They're focused on restoring energy flow to the body. I think with like meridian zones and such like that, but dry needling is more anatomically based. So if I want to go in on sound like your shoulder, I want to dry needle a supraspinatus muscle. So I'm going to go in, origin the supraspinatus. I'll probably get the muscle belly back in through there, hit some of the deltoid, and just other stuff like that. So it's more I'm more so attacking origin, muscle belly, insertion of these muscles or ligaments. And it's beneficial for all of those, even getting it into like cartilage and stuff like that. Trying to promote some blood flow to it to stimulate healing.
So when you talk about the healing part of it, how valuable is dry needling to, say, an injury like right as it happens?
So I've had quite a few rolled ankles in the past couple of years of being at Haynes, and I get pretty good results with doing that. Typically, we'll use a little bit of heat afterwards because we want to stimulate blood flow. But with acute injuries, you want to kind of keep the inflammation somewhat at bay so it doesn't swell up like a balloon or anything too much. But it's really great. At any stage of the injury, it can provide some kind of benefit. It can really kickstart the inflammation process for any kind of like sprain or strain of a muscle and kind of quicken that a little bit. And if it's been lingering for a long time as well, you kind of reset it back to acute stage of inflammation, and then we can kind of start from scratch with that. So it's pretty good for acute, chronic, any point of the injury. Of injury.
So Saturday mornings.
Right.
What time do you guys start? And then what time are you open?
We start between like 8 and 9, and then we're there until pretty much about noon.
Okay.
And I'm in there tomorrow, so I could probably
see
a couple football players before I'm out there.
We had Friday night football.
Right.
So you're getting ready for week 10, maybe for the playoffs.
Right.
Starting Monday is district play for soccer and volleyball. So if you have any of these lingering issues, tomorrow, Saturday morning, it's a great time to get in to Haynes-Stoll Healthcare off of Bridge Street. Not very far on Bridge Street. So if you've been on Bridge Street lately, you don't have to go very far on it.
It's terrible.
Yeah. I was on it today. It was not fun.
Not great.
But you're so short onto Bridge Street, you don't really notice it. Right. So, Saturday morning, great time to go in and get worked on a little bit to make sure you're playing at your highest level next week when you go into the districts or in week 10, because we're going to talk about it throughout the show. We got some teams getting ready for the playoffs or fighting for their playoff lives.
Yeah, got to make a playoff run. Even day of competition, dry needling can provide benefit, especially as accompanied with an adjustment as well. Is you had a volleyball player come in about a week and a half ago with a knee injury that was just lingering for a long period of time. Had a game that night, but they wanted to start getting the dry needling because playoffs were coming up, and they were trying to battle for that, as you were talking about. And she, after adjustment, dry needle of the knee performed great, and she said she hadn't played that well in probably about a month or so.
Nice.
So it's really good stuff. Just for game prep or days before or day of. So
yeah, and that's always a good thing is to feel your best during it because, like we talked about, like I probably wouldn't feel good at all if I didn't do the dry needling with Cassie before I did my cartwheel extravaganza.
It could have ended poorly.
Yeah, and I'm surprised it didn't. But what days are you guys open during the week?
Oh, Monday through Friday. I'm in there every day. Mm-hmm. And then we have at least one dock in every Saturday morning available. So
yeah, so it's
trying to make ourselves as available as possible for everybody.
So you mentioned stretching and getting adjusted.
Yeah.
Dry needling, cupping. Is there anything? Massage. Yes.
Yeah. Forgot to mention massage. Jericho's gonna hit me. I think she's wonderful. She is wonderful.
Mm-hmm. So you have all these different things at Haines-Toll Healthcare. One place to get all of this done.
One-stop shop.
Yeah, and once you go in there once, they're going to recognize you again. You're going to feel great after you go there. And we really appreciate them being a sponsor. So, Jeff, you got anything else?
No, not really. I mean, it's on Thursday, Elijah. I'll be in there
Thursday. All right, we're booking.
Thursday's the big day. So
wonderful. We'll get video footage or something.
I'll have to approve before we show that.
Yeah, we won't worry about it. It's a joke.
So there could be an issue next week because I believe Nick will be back over here. So I'll be back behind producing. So if we don't have Jeff next week, we'll know why. But
you might have Jeff like doing cartwheels, maybe is the way it sounds. So
there we go.
Maybe Friday night we'll do some gymnastics.
We're gonna skip cartwheel and we're gonna try to get that back going on.
All right. Yeah. We'll do some stunting or something.
There we go. I'll stunt you. I'll see if I still got it.
Yeah, get ready for basketball season.
There you go.
Yeah, when you get the big shots this year, you're gonna see Jeff limbering up on the sideline, getting ready to perform as well. So Dr. Green, we appreciate you coming in, especially after what happened last time. So we appreciate you coming in and giving us another shot.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we appreciate you coming in. Haines-Toll Healthcare, health drive or medical?
One Health Drive.
Yeah, One Health Drive. Yeah. Check it out in Chillicothe. Kind of a one-stop shop for everything. So we'll be right back here in a minute, but we appreciate Dr. Green coming in. And after that, we'll have some coaches and talk some more. You've been watching the Haines-Toll Healthcare Coaches Calling Show. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
Glo Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real, reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glo Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glo Fiber is here. Welcome to Glo-Ohio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLO or visit glofiber.com to switch today.
Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show, presented by Southern Ohio Sports Authority and Ohio Health. Once again, I'm John Bruce, along with Jeff Miller. We appreciate Dr. Elijah Green for stepping back in with us after a rough one a couple weeks ago. So it sounds like it's going to be a rough one for you, Jeff, on Thursday,
yeah.
Getting dry needling. So
well, I mean, I'll let you know on Friday. It's just something that I don't want to say I'm not excited. I'll probably really enjoy it, but not something I look forward to all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that may not be the most fun until you realize how good it was, or how easy it was. So pretty
that
easy.
Hurt So Good. That song,
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, using the current reference for the kids. Yeah. So I do know it, so that's a positive. Now, as always, we like to thank Glow Fiber for providing us with internet access for tonight's show here in the Southern Ohio Sports Authority studio, but also now joining us on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline is Coach Matt Hoops from Unioto High School. How you doing tonight, Coach?
Doing all right. How are you guys?
All doing well. Have you done dry needling?
Oh, yeah, multiple times.
Yeah, I figured because you get hurt like I do, in just like random ways. But I know you're dealing with an injury right now. But did tonight help that injury feeling a little bit better?
It did until someone blocked someone out of bounds when I wasn't looking at it. It caught me off guard, but we're going to fight through it. We'll be all right.
Was it Jeff's kid? Because that would be
was
fun.
not.
Okay, because that would be fun.
It was not. If it was Jeff's kid, I'd have to roll him on Monday.
Yeah, we'd have some log rolls lined up on Monday. And then, but I will tell you this, John. I did see one of our students at school give Coach Hoops a fist bump this week and about dropped him to his knees in the hallway.
He's not lying. This was an overly aggressive fist bump by a young lady that just brought the wood, man.
Yeah, she
I was not expecting it.
She looked at me when he walked away, and she was
yeah.
like, "What's wrong with Mr. Hoops?" I'm like, "He's fine. He's fine." I mean,
Should just told her that she's just too strong.
Yeah,
too strong for Mr. Hoops or Coach Hoops.
It was so bad. Jeff got me ice.
Yeah.
So moving on. 57-0 win tonight, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. So who played well for you guys? It sounded like a lot, but
it was kind of just the same recipe. I mean, we had a lot of guys do a lot of things, and Cody Braden touches the ball a little bit more than everyone else, so he scored 3 times. But we blocked a punt for a safety. We had another punt return for a touchdown by Jackson Zickafoos. Luke Howard got in on the action on a couple runs. He scored a touchdown for us.
Nice.
Levi Beam scored on a little jet sweep pass that we run. I don't know, just a lot of guys played really well. Our defense was really good. Got the ball to us on short field all night long. I really think, I don't know if we ran 12 offensive plays in the first half, to be honest with you. But when we did run some plays, we were really efficient. Had a really cool thing happen tonight. We had Blake Braden throw a touchdown pass to his brother Cody,
nice.
Which was really cool. Had a lot of guys play really well, and we played a lot of guys, and we got out of there healthy and with a win, which is the ultimate goal.
Yeah, like you said, Coach. I think getting out of there with a good win, and maybe even bigger, is getting out of Week 9, no injuries, healthy, heading into Week 10. It's it's a nice feeling to have all your kids ready to go. I mean, here you are, Week 10, and you're not having kids over on the I guess I call it the Gene Squad. You know what I mean, where you've got 7-8 guys on the sidelines that aren't available. It seems like you guys are pretty healthy.
Yeah, and that's a funny term, because that started a long time ago, and I mentioned that to some of our guys. I'm like, "You still on the Gene Squad?" I said it to Peyton Smith, and he's like, "I don't even own jeans, because the kids now don't wear jeans. I mean, it's either shorts or sweats." And he looked at me kind of funny, but thank goodness Peyton's off the Gene Squad, so-called Gene Squad, and he's back to playing for us. But it's we've been really fortunate. Obviously, we do have a couple injuries that have impacted us, with 2 of our better players being injured, with Yusef Wilson and Ty Woods, and obviously Yusef done for the year, and we're still hoping to get Ty back. But relatively very, very healthy to be going into week 10. And so we're really happy about that.
Yeah, so you mentioned the Braden to Braden connection. So how valuable, and I know you guys have had to play a lot of different people throughout the year, but how valuable has it been to have someone like Blake Braden that can really help with, Isaac Coy, who's been outstanding for you guys for a couple of years, but to be able to have that secondary guy just in case, how valuable has that been for you guys?
Well, the growth that Blake's made this season is unbelievable. It's funny you say that because I was talking to him tonight in warmups. We were running routes on air, and he threw a corner route, I don't know, probably 25, 30 yards in the air and just put it right on the money. And I said, "Hey, Blake, could you have thrown that ball in June?" And I think the conversation or the quote was, "Yeah, if you let me throw it twice," because he couldn't have thrown it. He's just gotten so much stronger with the ball, and he's so steady back there, man. He's going to be a really good quarterback for us.
But speaking of that, how nice is it to have a second year man like Isaac Coy? Obviously he's had a really nice career starting wise, wins and losses, but just what growth have you seen out of him throughout this year?
He's just. I think once Isaac settled down, I think early on in the season he might have been pressing a little bit coming off such a good sophomore season. He'd be the first to tell you that, but he's really relaxed now, and I mean he's always a team first guy. I mean he knows what our strength is this year in terms of running the football and maybe not throwing as much as we did last year, but he's all for that, and when he does throw the ball, he's still really accurate and makes a lot of plays. So. I feel like that's one of the biggest differences between us and a lot of teams we play is we're able to do both. And, if you can't if you try to take one thing away from us, we're still able to do the other. And a lot of times when some of the teams we've played, we've been able to make them one-dimensional, and that's an advantage to us.
Coach, I think you hit a good point there when you talk about being multi-dimensional. And that's one thing, having watched you guys most of the year, that I feel like is probably, like you say, a strength of yours is the fact that, you can go either way. If someone wants to load the box up and try to stop Cody, then really you've got Isaac back there that can sling it around. And, if you try to spread them out, then you can stick the ball in Cody's stomach and have big nights. So, I mean, is that one of the things that you guys kind of preach, is being multidimensional and being able to play that game? If it's a passing game, you're fine. If you're a running game, it's fine. Is that something you guys preach to the staff?
Oh, for sure. And the hard thing about it is we've got so many guys that are so competitive and so athletic that it's hard. Let's say that they're gonna take the pass away and we're just pounding the football with Cody, and you got guys like, Jackson Zickafoos, who can score anytime he touches it, Jack Welch, Levi Beam, Braden Harsha, those guys that want the ball on the perimeter, but, they understand that if Cody's going and our offensive line's working, that, we're going to win the football game. And, part of me, feels bad for those guys because they are such good athletes, can make plays at any time. But you know what? When the time has been come for them to make plays, they've made them too. So. And the other thing, too, that I don't think gets a lot of credit is, obviously our run games is what it is, but our wide receivers do an outstanding job blocking. I mean, if you turn the film on, there's very rarely any time that we have to stop the film and ask a receiver, why they're not blocking or, why they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. It takes all 11 guys to do the job. And, fortunate for us, we have a lot of really good 11 guys.
Yeah, when you mentioned that in your blockers, how outstanding has your guys' offensive and defensive line been this year? Who have really been standouts for you guys to make things a little bit easier for Cody running the ball or Isaac sitting back there?
Well, offensive line wise, I just think that they've and I've talked to you guys about this multiple times. Just the growth they make from week to week, and now they're really playing as a unit, which is what you want at the end of the year. Just starting at the left tackle with senior Bryce Jarvis, and then left guard is junior Glenn Stottridge, and center is senior Landon Caruth, and then right guard's Dylan Stanley, who's a junior, and then right tackle is Donzel Newland, who's a junior. So 3 of those 5 guys are back. And then I'll tell you what, Luke Stanton is a sophomore that's really made a big step, taken a big step these last couple weeks, and feel like we have a 6th guy that's really, really capable of filling in if we need him to.
And you mentioned some of those kids that some of the youth that you have. I mean, that's another thing, Coach. I feel like that that maybe with the depth that you have, and obviously we've talked to plenty of coaches this year who have talked about numbers being low, but with the depth that you have, is that something like practice wise that you can throw a scout team out there that's fairly competitive? I know as a basketball coach, one time, times when I've got a deep roster, I'm like, in practice, I can actually go 5-on-5 and get something out of it. And I feel like that's probably something for you guys this year. You've got enough talent in some of your youth that you can actually go, full against full and it be fairly competitive.
I'll tell you this, the week we got ready for Zane Trace, our JV offensive line was outstanding. And you're talking about, obviously, Jeff, your son Brody Miller, you got Jonah Renner up there, Blake Wynn, Nick Gibson Mallory, and I already mentioned Luke Stanton, who's a sophomore. Those dudes gave us a great look that week, of what we were getting ready to see with Zane Trace running the football. And anytime you can do that, obviously it's an advantage. And the other thing too is they're going against a really good defensive line, so that's not only helping us get a look, but it's also making them better at what they're doing, so that next year when we have to replace guys, these guys have got some experience not only in all of our games we've played, because they've all played on Friday nights, but each night in practice, and they're going against really good players, so it's a huge advantage.
So when you talk about that's a big advantage, but how much you guys have had games that have been very large spread wise, how valuable is it to kind of ramp you guys up to get ready? Because after week 10, if you have another one that's not particularly close, you may be playing a game where your guys are gonna have to be ready to play 4 quarters starting in week 11. How big is that in practice to help push you guys in the ways?
Well, it's one thing. Yeah, it's just one thing we focus on. We honestly, that's been our message all season: is we're preparing for the playoffs, and these teams in front of us, we got to take them seriously, and we got to prepare and play like they're a playoff game. And the results will take care of themselves. But mentally, and I know it's hard to do with young kids, but mentally, that's just where we are. We've been really focused on trying to prepare ourselves for what's going to happen in the playoffs when maybe you don't win a series and you have to punt. Let's face it, we've only punted 4 times all season. So what's going to happen when we have to actually punt and play field position and do those things? So again, that comes into it. We take special teams really seriously and work on it a lot every day in practice, and because we know it's going to come into play sooner than later.
And then last thing, before then we'll let you get to your pizza. So Westfall with a really big win tonight over Piketon. So they are, a win next week and they're in. So is that something?
Yeah, they're playing for everything.
Yeah, they're playing for everything. Is that how important is that to hammer on your guys? Obviously, you guys are still playing for the perfect regular season and undefeated league record. But how important is it to really let them know, hey, this team's good. Like Westfall's good. There's a reason why they're playing for a playoff spot in week 12 or week 10.
No, it's 100% accurate, and we've already said our playoffs start week 10 now. Like, we're going to just start it a week early. That's our first playoff game, and we'll prepare like it's our first playoff game, and it's a lot on the line, and we'll see how we do.
Yeah, so Coach, once again, we appreciate you calling in, and hopefully you can get to your dinner pretty quickly. So congratulations on another win.
Oh, yeah. Perfect timing. Walking right in the house now.
You walking in the house. Coach,
Yep.
I bet you've got a grandkid there that's probably wanting some pizza.
Oh, yeah.
What?
She's still running wild. She's
what do you
still running wild.
What do you go by? Pappy?
Oh, no, I'm Poppy.
Poppy.
I'm
okay.
Poppy.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, Poppy, take that Geo's in there, get Jovi some food, and you can call it a night.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to interrupt this reading session between her and Christina right now. So
Okay.
we're going to get it done.
All right.
All right. Have a good night, Coach.
See
Thank
you
you
guys.
again.
See ya.
Bye.
Yeah, so it's always it's always a good night whenever you get the post game meal, but then you get to see your either your kid, grandkid, you get to go home, and these coaches, even though you're playing once a week, you're putting so much into it. And I know as a coach, I know as an assistant coach, just how much time and effort you put into it. So how great is it especially after a win, to be able to go home?
Yeah, I mean, as a coach, most people don't understand, the time that goes in it. I mean, obviously, coach is going home, he's got food, he's going to, but I guarantee you, sometime throughout the night, he's going to be on the phone with some other coaches. He's going to flip them the film, watch a couple plays here and there. So I mean, the amount of time all these coaches put in is just is unbelievable. I mean, kudos to all of them.
Yeah. So, and you're getting ready for that too. So that's going to start once the girls' season starts. Now we still have a lot of football left to play. Hopefully, another 6 weeks for somebody in our area. We had Ironton last year. Hopefully, we can get somebody to do something similar this coming year. But a big time coming up is it never stops for us here at Southern Ohio Sports Authority. And now, for the first time this season, we have a coach calling in. Here on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline is Coach Jay Sharrett from Circleville High School. How are you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
We appreciate having you on, Coach, and I know we were able to get your number tonight, so that's always a good thing to hear. Especially from a coach, when we mentioned having that background that Ironton had, you've had a lot of success in your coaching career. Tonight, big win for you guys. How can you tell us a little bit about your win tonight over Liberty Union to go to 6-3?
Well, it was it's been a great season in the sense that we've had some ups and downs, and we've bounced back, and then we've played some tough ball games and won them, and played some tough ball games that came up short. But tonight, we got up quick on Liberty Union, and they're struggling in a couple areas. But what was neat about this was our 6th win of the season, and Circleville has not had a winning season in 10 years. So to get that 6th win, and we were close a couple other games and we didn't quite get it done, but to get that one tonight, especially for these seniors and this football team, we're hoping to start a new trend for the next 10 years and go with winning seasons. But we're obviously out of our league race, but we're right in the thick of computer points, and we got a big ball game next week against Bloom Carroll, and we'll go up there and see what happens. But right now, very proud of these guys. Happy they won their last game there in Tiger Stadium. And once again, like I said, appreciate you having me on.
Hey Coach, Jeff Miller here. I know this is your first year there at Circleville and in the Mid-State League, but one thing we've talked about all season is man, the Mid-State League has been super, super competitive this year, and with you being in your first year, like, can you just kind of talk about the league maybe as a whole? You've got Amanda has they're sitting right around that 4 and 5 mark, but it's played a crazy tough schedule. Hamilton Township 7-2. Can you just talk a little bit about the league in general?
Yeah, I think it's been one thing I've really enjoyed is meeting the head coach of the new team that we're playing, because I mean, honestly, for us and the coaching staff, each week is almost like a new season, because we're preparing for a program we haven't played before. We don't know the head coach, but I mean, when you put the film in, it jumps out at you right away. These guys are well coached, and if you're going to be in the game in the fourth quarter, you can't turn the ball over, and you better have a blocking scheme, and you better tackle because, and like I said, you mentioned Hamilton and Bloom Carroll. I mean, those schools are a little bit ahead of the other ones in numbers wise, and they can do some other things. But as for just lining up 11 kids against 11 kids in the Mid-State League, it's good. It's good, brutal football. I mean, it's hard-nosed, hitting football the way it's supposed to be played. And, I graduated from Circleville in 1984. I was retired for 2 years, and the job came open, and they contacted me. And I'm like, here I am talking to you guys on radio, but couldn't be happier for guys or proud.
Well, we appreciate you calling in tonight, Coach. And I'm sure the people of Circleville are glad that you're back, because, as you mentioned, it's been a long time since a winning season at Circleville, and Circleville's kind of been a program that you haven't heard a lot of positives on the football side lately. So it is exciting to see some really good things happen there at Circleville. You mentioned on senior night, you get a big win. Who out of your seniors, who played well tonight for you guys?
Well, we had guys, Hudson Phelan, our quarterback, he's done a great job. I put a lot of responsibility on blocking schemes and decision making. He's done a great job all season. But Paul Nungester, he came out and scored some quick touchdowns for us and made some defensive plays for us. But across the board, Jack Klein, who's a receiver DB for us, but he has punted the living daylights out of the ball for us and saved some games for us down the stretch when we just really needed to flip the field. So it's been a different group of kids each week that's pushed us. Some are juniors, some are sophomores, and we're playing more than a handful of freshmen. And but those four grades have really blended together, and we're relatively healthy right now, and we're sitting, like I said, pretty good computer points. And we've got one of the main adversaries, probably the league champs, next week in Bloom Carroll. So we've got to rest up and put a good ball game together and go up there and play best we can. But at this point in the season, I'm pretty happy with where we are, and I'm really glad I came out of retirement and coaching here at Circleville.
Yeah, and you mentioned so once again, going back to haven't had a winning season in quite some time, and now going into week 10. Yeah, you mentioned being out of the league race, but I guarantee those kids are just on cloud 9 of like, hey, we got a lot to play for. We got everything in front of us in week 10, and just to make that leap in 1 year is very impressive.
It's very nice to explain it to them also, because when I was the head coach of Pinkerton Central, we had a really good run there, and they're having another great season this year. But our kids there are very sharp and educated on computer points, second level points, and how things work. And that's been a lot of fun, showing these guys how the computer points work, showing how if we defeat somebody, we want that team to win every game possible, because that helps us, get our computer points. And now that they kind of understand it, they're on Joe Idle, and it makes it fun, makes it exciting. When you go out to practice on Monday, you're playing for something, and that's kind of where we're at, and that's where we'll carry that momentum into next week.
Yeah, I just pulled up Joe Idle myself, and you look across, you see Circleville, you look across there, and you see that playoff status says control own destiny. So I know that's one of the things your kids are going to be looking at this week, Coach. And I'm sure you guys are going to have a great week and get ready for Bloom Carroll here in week 10.
Well, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your cover. And now that you got my number, call me anytime. I'd love to be on.
We appreciate it very much, Coach. And normally we say we're not rooting for, we say good luck on, being healthy and whatnot. Technically, Bloom's out of our coverage area right now. So best of luck to the Tigers next week.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So hope to hear from you again next week, and then definitely in the future as well. So good luck this week. Stay healthy and have a great rest of your week.
All right. Take care, guys. Bye.
Yes, thanks, Coach. So that was one of those things is, this is our first year doing the football show. And then we have some coaches that are coming new to the area and whatnot. So sometimes it's a little slower for us to get all the communication needed. And we're hoping just keep building this thing, because it's really exciting to hear from different coaches throughout the time.
And it's like Coach said, that's a guy who's really coached at probably one of the premier schools in the state of Ohio. At Pick Central, you go back to his success he had there, and like you mentioned, John, here he comes back to his alma mater, Circleville. Hasn't been a real successful program here in the last few years, and that. Like he said, they're 6 wins, sitting right in the thick of the playoffs. He's done a great job in year 1 up there at Circleville, so they've got to be extremely excited.
Oh, yeah, and speaking of extremely excited, I would say we've got a coach that outside of about the first 3 minutes probably felt pretty good about tonight's game. So joining us now on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline is Coach Andy Hall from Jackson High School. Big win tonight, Coach. How are you doing?
Really big win. Pretty exhausted, and I know the players are too. But yeah, you're right. I mean, we start off the game like any coach would want. First play of the game, the Baker kid goes 70 yards, or how many yards he needed to score, untouched for a touchdown. And then
Coach was tickled again.
Kickoff to us.
Coach was tickled again in the first few minutes, right?
I was tickled to death. I mean, it's 2 weeks in a row. I've been elated with excitement.
Yes.
So happy. So then we get the ball. We throw interception on a third down play, which was kind of something that Bodie doesn't really do. He just kind of forced one in there deep in our own territory, and then 3 plays later they score again. So it's 14-0, and heck, we barely got off the school bus.
Right.
So we were able to move the ball a little bit, and I think we had to punt. I can't remember exactly, but the key to the first half is 14-0, and they're driving. They started another drive, and we caused the fumble on. They're running. It's a kind of a midline option, and our defense, our outside linebacker, hit the quarterback and the back same time. They phoned the ball. We get it, and then we were able to punch that touchdown in, or the ball in the end zone, and at 14-7, and you can start to see things kind of sway back a little bit. We kind of got caught our breath, and again, got another stop on a 4th down play. We threw a touchdown pass to Eli Ray on a 4th and 4 play, and tied it up 14-all, and really at that point, got our confidence back. Offensive line started taking control of the situation, and really, I thought physically was able to do some nice things tonight.
Hey, Coach, I was out of Southeastern watching my son's game, but I'll be really honest with you. I think most of the time I had my head down on my phone watching the live stream of your guys' game. But one of the plays I wanted to ask you about is, I can't remember if it was like 27-27 or something like that. You guys punted, and there was kind of somewhat of a controversial fumble, on the punt. Is that, those situations, is that a situational thing you guys practice? Was that just a real headsy play, because it was like you guys automatically kind of looked like Miami Trace touched the ball, jumped up? Like, can you explain that play a little bit?
Well, the punt hit one of their guys as he's retreating back to set up like a wall. The ball hit one of their guys that he didn't even see it coming, and it clipped his heel. But it was one of those situations no one really knew, because the ball didn't change direction all that much. So, we're hollering, screaming, get on the ball. And no one really kind of knows what's going on. And so we jumped on it. And, I think it was a 50-50 situation. The referees kind of got together and didn't know exactly what. And then they ended up giving us the football. I didn't see it hit the player. Not real sure if it did or not, but it did change direction. But it's just one of those situations, where you're in the right place at the right time. We were able to cause 3 turnovers tonight. We only had the 1 interception in a game like this. That's huge. And so we were able to take that turnover and turn it into points. Our offensive line in the second half, I thought, dominated up front. Only threw the ball 12 times, but Bodie was 11 of 12 for almost 100 yards. And a couple touchdowns. Did have the 1 pick. And
I was going to say, so pretty good after that first pick. So pretty good night for Bodie after that. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't have an incompletion after that. But so no, we got it to come old school Ironman football, really, to be honest with you. We didn't throw the ball much the second half. We gave up a ton of yards in the first half. And I give Trace a lot of credit. Jerry Williams got in some formations we hadn't seen. They traded some tight ends and wings and got us in bad spots. And so at halftime, we were able to kind of make those adjustments. And really in the second half, only give up 1 touchdown. The Baker kid had 190 yards rush, and all that was in 3 quarters. He didn't have a rushing yard in the 4th quarter. And we were able to put a 9-minute drive together. I went for it twice on 4th down. We just couldn't give them the ball back. Our defense was gassed, but again, second half, they played a lot better. Option responsibilities were dialed in tonight. We didn't give up any big plays on the option. Just so tickled for our kids, being able to make those adjustments at halftime. We kind of changed and did some, gave a couple formations in the second half that they hadn't seen as well, and be able to utilize Buddy Wolford running the football. He had about 50, 60 yards rushing, a couple touchdowns. But tonight, Ryan Simons turned into an old school tailback at Jackson. He had 22 carries for 145 yards and a couple touchdowns. And, again, went back to kind of old school football for us.
Well, and then a couple of those were just really tough runs too. So even though he's not the biggest, but if you see him, he's also a good sized kid for his size anyway. But man, he was running very hard tonight. I bet those offensive linemen really appreciated how hard he was running with how hard they were blocking as well.
They did, and my quarterback comes over to me in that second half. He says, "Just run the ball. Let's just run the ball right at them." And this is your quarterback talking. So, that really kind of set the tone. The big play there in that second half was on the fourth down. We got into an empty set, a 3-by-2, and ran kind of a power read, we call it, where your jet motion and Bodie. That was a 4th and 4 play I think it was on our own 45-yard line. Probably maybe not been the best decision in the world at the time, but we felt like we just, didn't want to give the ball back to them, and maybe they wouldn't be ready because we were doing a lot of 8-man line and unbalanced stuff. So we came out of the timeout with 5 wide receivers. Kind of got them off misaligned a little bit. Faked Ryan Simons. Of course, 3 guys went after him. Bodie pulled it and got about 7-8 yards for the first down and kept the drive going. So, just very happy with our special teams tonight. Thatcher Brown did a great job kicking the football. I think we had the 1 punt tonight, but it was a battle. It's what we thought it was going to be. I think both teams had right around 300 yards offense. We were able to, of course, throw the ball a little bit more, but just so tickled to death. I mean, being down 14-0 as quick as we were, and had a chance to be down 21-0. That could have been the ball game, but our kids really fought back and stuck with the plan. Like I said, defensively, the second half we were a lot better. Offensively, I thought our offensive line did a great job of moving their big guys, and I thought really controlled the line of scrimmage all night long.
Yeah, and a huge win tonight, Coach, and honestly, another huge game next week. I think you've got the Chillicothe Cavaliers coming down to your place next Friday. Is that correct?
We do, and I was asked a couple times after the game about our kids refocusing, and the good thing about it, it's Chillicothe. This is, us and Trace have been a rival the last 4 or 5 years. It's kind of built up to one, but the true rivalry from day one is Chillicothe. You go back to the SCOL days, you go back to the non-league days we played each other, and then of course now in the FAC. These kids play against each other in Pee Wee every year. They play them in junior high every year. It's a battle. These guys known each other since they were in 2nd grade. So, I know that, they've got one heck of a tailback, and we had a hard time with Baker tonight, and this kid may be better. So we're going to do a lot better job of getting guys to the ball and tackling, getting guys on the ground. Offensively, I was pleased most of the night of what we were able to do. But again, it's going to be a huge night at Alumni Stadium. It's, for the conference championship outright, a chance to hopefully get a top 4 seed, which gets you a bye and then a first round game and the second round game, home game. And, we're going to honor 30th year of our SCOAL championship run there in the 90s, 95 through 98. So we're going to have a big ceremony for them before the game, and then have a reception at the Elks afterwards for them. And it's going to be a blackout night. And we're going to, hometown trucking. And Ray Braden is going to sponsor 500 T-shirts. Going to be free T-shirts. They're black with the Ironman logo on the front to really get that going. And it's a great environment at Alumni Stadium. We're glad to be home next week.
Yeah, that sounds like an outstanding night. And as you mentioned, it's Chillicothe, and just with how good Julian Baker is, when you say that Ligon might be better, just shows how talented the FAC is this season. So for you guys to get at least a share of that, I feel like after we talked to you a couple times early, has to feel pretty good with how your guys have reacted, especially with how talented the FAC is this year.
Right. We've said, this is by far athletically the best this league's ever been, from top to bottom. And the talent is youthful. We got a lot of sophomores and juniors that are making this happen. And so, unfortunately for us, we're going to see these guys again in the next year or so. But, again, a lot of credit to what Miami Trace did. They had a nice game plan going in. I just thought that in the second half, our adjustments, we made a few more adjustments and didn't turn the ball over, and were able to make some plays to get out, get the win.
So just real quick, you mentioned about the playoffs. So I kind of wanted to ask somebody, and I figured somebody with some plenty of experience is a good one to ask. So no matter what, a team's going to only get one home game. So if you get a bye or not, you have the one home game. So if you guys are healthy, are you looking that you want to play earlier, or are you embracing the bye since you don't get it typically? And I'm just kind of wondering how an experienced coach looks at that.
Well, I don't. The bye, I'm not real sure because we never had it.
Right.
Now the good thing this year is that the regional finals are a home game too. So
Okay.
the higher seed in that third round for the first time ever gets a chance to play at home. So the regional semifinal game.
Okay.
So the third round game is a home game to the higher seed, and then the final, which is the fourth game, is a neutral site, if I'm not mistaken. So. An opportunity to do that, again, the bye, we have to wait and see. I don't really know if that does come up. How do we handle that? I'm going to talk to some people that maybe have done it in other states and other places. I'm going to talk to some college guys that I know that, deal with byes as well. Just kind of get a feel of what you want to do to keep the momentum, but also give the guys a little bit of a break mentally and physically. So, a win next week can give us a chance to get that top 4 seeds. Of course, and more importantly, a chance to win the FAC outright. So, it's going to be a heck of a week. It's going to be a heck of a game. I know Chillicothe, they've had, what a great turnaround that they've made. I don't know how they end up tonight. I thought they probably did win. I don't know what the score was,
I
but
say it was like
they're
35-19 maybe. Or
they're
like
up a couple scores late.
Okay, so again, I said this is the rival game. This is why in the FAC they put these games week 10. So a great win for our kids tonight in our program. My assistant coaches did a fabulous job of making a lot of adjustments, special teams. Coach Fleming, Coach Neal kind of took over our kickoff return units this week and made a few adjustments to them as well. Again, very happy with that. So again, back to the drawing board, a chance to work on getting better this week and ready for a big game Friday night.
All right, Coach, we appreciate you calling in as always. It was great to see a packed house tonight, and it was an outstanding game.
It was.
Yeah, so just really high-level football, and really, if you look at the playoff points, could possibly happen again down the line as well. So, which would be great for our area.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, so
you're right.
Looking forward to seeing how all that plays out. But we appreciate you calling in as always, Coach, and we look forward to hearing from you again after Week 10, which should be another outstanding FAC matchup.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep, thank you, Coach, for calling in. And Coach mentioned about the FAC playing the rivalry games in Week 10. I love it. Yeah. I think it just does, because you have the Rotary Bowl with Hillsborough and McLean.
Hey, Coach, it's Chris.
And then you've got Washington Courthouse and Miami Trace playing. They had to go 4 miles outside of whatever. And then you've got Chillicothe and Jackson. It's awesome to have that in Week 10.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, because it's, like, it's cliche how they say, you throw records out the window in those, and it really is. I mean, when those teams are competing against each other, you can't, it's rivalry games. And what better, you get to Week 10, even if you've had a rough season and you're not playing for a playoff, man, that rivalry game kids can walk out of there with a big win and be really, really happy about the entire season.
Oh yeah, it's outstanding. I love how they finish. But speaking of someone whose team is finishing strong, joining us on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline, it's Coach Bill Crabtree from Northwest. How are you doing tonight, Coach?
Great now. We had some rough going there early, but it's good shape now.
Yeah, it seems like you guys have been playing really well throughout the year. I know you. We've talked to you throughout the season, and it's been a joy throughout. But it's nice to see you guys still rolling. A nice win on the road tonight at Waverly. Can you talk us through the game tonight?
Yeah, like I said, it was a shootout out there for a little bit. We jumped out early. We started off with an onside kick and recovered, and we were able to score pretty quick. And then, we ended up trading back and forth all night. It seemed like the first half. And we went in at halftime. We challenged our kids and talked to them a little bit, and they came out second half and really played well. First half, Carson Christian had 3 amazing touchdowns again. I mean, the kid's just a freak. But then right before the half, he dove for the pylon and rolled his ankle real bad, so we lost him. So he wasn't able to go after that. So we had some other guys we challenged to step up, and by God, they did. Austin Smith had 2 huge, just little screens that he made plays and scored 2 long touchdowns. I think I don't have the actual stats with me yet. They're not uploaded, but Jake Brown threw for over 300 yards tonight. So that was a huge, he became our second 1,000-yard passer in school history tonight. He was the first also. I mean, he's the only guy we've ever had. That was his sophomore year. Then he missed his entire junior year pretty much, but he did it again this year. Real close to 1,000 yards rushing. So that just tells you what kind of year he's having. Like I said, we had at halftime, we lost our big scorer threat there with Carson. And kids were a little down at first, and we talked to them and told someone else has to step up now. And like I said, Smitty made some huge plays. Ryan Ellis did great. Our line, once again, just, our line can hang with about anyone, I think. They're huge, they're athletic. They're just a really good group of guys there. And we were able to, pull away there in the late in the game. Kids got a little upset with me because we wouldn't let them score. They went down to the 1 yard line. And we stopped it, but they wanted 60, over the years, Waverly has hammered us. My 4 years of high school, I think they outscored us like 300 to 14 or something like that. And our kids, their families talk about those types of losses. And there's a lot of, we've overcome a lot with Waverly over these last 2 seasons, been many times where it's been 50, 60 to nothing, things of that nature. So to get to where we're getting to as a program, it's really a fun time, kids are playing hard and, it's a fun time. We got a big one next week with O'Keel. And so tonight was only the 5th time in school history we beat them. So, and we've got them back to back. That's the first time. Tonight was the first night we've ever beat them in Waverly. Nice. So, we've got some things. We're crossing off some things on our list when we took over here 7 years ago.
I was getting ready to say that, Coach. I know we talked to you last week. You guys had that win against West. Then you come back this week and get one against Waverly. I don't know how many times that's really happened for you guys where you've got knocked off West and Waverly in the same season. I'm assuming that probably hasn't happened very often.
I don't think it's ever happened. If it has, it was in like 71, 72. I'll have to double check that this evening, but I think that's probably the first time, and it's definitely the first time we beat them and Minford. So, our kids, unfortunately we had that major setback against Valley. We couldn't catch a break and things went wrong that night. We still, at the end of the night, we had a chance to win it and just came up a little wide. But the kids are playing good. They're having fun. Hopefully some good things happen for us tonight. I mean, I know it's still a long shot, but Harvest Prep lost tonight, and a couple of other teams ahead of us lost. So, I mean, we're just praying. That's all we can do at this point. Handle what we can do and pray that something happens that'll let us sneak in that 12th spot for week 11. These kids, our senior class is a special group of young men. They've been together. They've won a lot of games together over the years. They took their lumps there their sophomore year, rebounded their junior year and won some games. And now this year they're having just a remarkable season. And hopefully we find a way to extend it for them, Well, like I said, it's going to take some help, but stranger things have happened. So we'll see.
Well, you mentioned that. And as you're mentioning it, I was kind of clicking around, looking at different scores, and it appears that everything you needed to have happened happened tonight. So that at least opens the door a little bit. So yeah, I feel like even though you still need some help, it still has to, feel pretty good that, hey, we're not completely done going into week 10,
right?
Because what you need has happened so far. So. You mentioned
I was teasing Coach Woodward from Wheelersburg the other night. And I told him, man, if you could just blow that game week 10 against West, help us all out, help all Southern Ohio here. Yeah, he wasn't on the same page.
Well, it's understandable, but at the same time, it's always. But you always feel good when you're able to have fun talking to other coaches as well, because that just means the season's going pretty well if you're able to still have a good time with it. But you mentioned Jake Brown being the second 1,000-yard passer in school history. How impressive is that for him as a two-way player, to be able to run and pass? Because that's
the thing. He's right at 100 tackles on the season as well. He's high 80s right now in tackles on the season. So I mean, he doesn't come off the field for us other than special teams.
Well, then with him dealing with an injury last week, just says so much about what he does as a senior for you guys, just showing, what Northwest is all about. Because, with seeing going to basketball for a minute, but going to that tournament run from a couple years ago, you could just see how much the community buys in. So I guarantee that community is having a great time watching these guys play football, and that's just going to help the program in the future as well, I would guess, right?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of excitement going on for sure. Late in the game there, we put some of our guys from next year in. We kept our first line out there, but we let some of our young guys run. And to be honest, we were trying to get into a field goal situation. We wanted to get Weston another big kick. But on the first play on our last drive, Chandler Wyrick, a little freshman, he ripped off a heck of a run, probably a 30-yard run or better. Mm-hmm. So then we gave it to Bradley Mason, who's another young freshman. He done the same thing the other way. So then the kids are hungry, and they started running no huddle. I was telling them to stop, and they were saying go. And, we didn't want to make it look too bad, but we ended up stopping it right there at the 1 yard line. So hopefully we didn't offend too many with that. But the kids are having fun. They're competing on a high level. And like I said, each week we're getting better. We're up here at a local church. Jackson Powell's dad's a pastor up here in Waverly. And they invited us up afterwards, and Beast and Bottle donated a bunch of food, and they're taking care of us. So I want to thank those guys for that. Yeah, it's a great night. Now it looks like we're a triage unit walking around here. It's week 10, we're going into week 10 here. We're beat to death, but I told them you got to have at least one more in you, and we got a big one next week, and like I said, hopefully we can catch a break and sneak in that last spot.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you calling in. Obviously, last couple of weeks, big wins for you guys, and hopefully everyone's healthy. We'll get into week 10, and like you said, hopefully the things fall in place and let you guys sneak in these playoffs or week 11. So we appreciate you calling in tonight, Coach.
All right, thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Coach. So once again, just looking at it, as he mentioned, Harvest Prep loses, so Harvest Prep's out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of huge.
That's huge for everyone.
Yeah, for everyone, because that's a loaded team. But that is one of the reasons when you're these independents, and Ironton's done a great job of it so far, is you have to take care of business when you're playing these big teams, because if you drop too many of them, and now they had a couple things happen that were out of their control,
right.
But if you don't win those games, it doesn't matter how good your schedule is, because you don't get in. Now, basketball, it's not the same thing, but in football, with it only being 12 teams now, and really looks like they're going to be around the 15, 16. So how awful a first round game would that have been?
Oh, if you're a 1 or 2 seed, you got Harvest Prep coming into your place. That's not something you're really looking forward to.
Yeah, not one bit. So, we appreciate the coaches calling in so far. We are going to actually go to a quick break, and then hopefully we'll have another coach on the line. Right now, you are watching the Haynes Toll Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
Glo Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real, reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glo Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glo Fiber is here. Welcome to Glo Ohio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLO or visit glofiber.com to switch today.
to the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show presented by Southern Ohio Sports Authority and Ohio Health, and then Haynes Total Healthcare as well. So, as always, we appreciate anyone checking in. We've got the Glow Fiber Internet in here that makes it to where it's possible for us to go. Edward Jones has the coaches hotline, which we'll have another coach on here soon. But as always, on the Sosa Ohio website, just going to sosaohio.com, you can find all kinds of articles and pictures and we have some outstanding photographers that we have working for us. We had some outstanding ones last year as well, and you can see all the articles from throughout the week. We had it was the start of volleyball and soccer this week, so you can see some articles on those. All the league stuff has been posted as well, but we also have the Norfolk Animal Clinic scoreboard, which we will go to right now once my Glow Fiber Internet goes to the page. It might just be because I'm updating the scoreboard at the same time, so it's coming a hair behind. But now, checking the Norfolk Animal Clinic scoreboard, which you can always find on sosaohio.com/scores/ or /scores/ / again. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I was just leaving the backslash. I think everyone knows. Like, no one does front slash. So, like Dr. Green was talking about doing backflips. I don't know if people are doing front flips or not. I know next week you'll be doing backflips in here after you get your dry needling. So, checking out the Norfolk Animal Clinic scoreboard, our streaming game of the week presented by Ohio Health, Jackson 41, Miami Trace 27, an outstanding game. Jackson down 14-0 early. They got out in front 21-20 at the half, and then they're able to pull away with 2 late scores. I was really glad you asked Coach Hall about that fumble, because that was a big play in the game. And
well, it was, and then just watching on the live stream, it was tough to really see what happened. I was just, to have him be able to kind of explain that a little bit was nice, because the viewers out there, if you're not there and hearing what's going on, it was one of those things. I was like, exactly what happened on that play. So.
Yeah, and it's a huge play, and when you're calling the game too, and especially in football, because you're not close, right? It's hard to see exactly what happens. Now, a good break for Jackson, and sometimes you make your own breaks by jumping on the ball in a big-time play for Jackson. So a heck of a win for them as they wrap up a share in the FAC. Right now, it's looking like that could be a Week 12 game if one of them takes care of business in Week 11. It looks like they're likely going to be the 4 or 5 in their region, would just make it an outstanding game.
For our area,
for our area to see that, no matter where it would be played. Now, Chillicothe with a 36-14 win over Greenfield McLean tonight. Unioto, a 57-0 win over Southeastern. Westfall with a really impressive 53-21 win over Piketon. Zane Trace 69, Paint Valley 0. Huntington 40, Adena 14. Portsmouth West 46, Oak Hill 8. Wheelersburg 56, Minford 6. Northwest, we just talked to Coach Crabtree, a 59-31 win over Waverly, and maybe the most impressive score of the night, Lucasville Valley 41, Grandview Heights 8, a big-time win for the Indians. And then you get to the scoring fest.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just, you had Eastern Pike 71, South Gaia 52, then Sims Valley 63, Notre Dame 47. And the biggest thing about that South Gaia and Eastern Pike score, Eastern Pike has just completely been shutting people down defensively.
Yeah.
Their offense got the memo that the defense needed a little help for going back to the first time since Week 3, and they put up 71. So an outstanding game for Coach Tomlinson as they continue their winning streak to win a really good SOC1 this season and all but assure themselves of a home game in the playoffs. Manchester 52, Van Loo 0, Claremont Northeastern 49, Fayetteville 6. Fairfield Union with a 34-14 win over Amanda Clear Creek, a really impressive win for the Falcons. It looks like they're likely to get in the playoffs. Circleville, we talked to Coach Sharrett for the first time, and they got a 56-27 win over Liberty Union. Now they control their own destiny going into next week as They go to Bloom Carroll, not an easy place to win, but for the first time in over a decade, a winning season for Circleville, and they get themselves a chance to get in the playoffs as well. So a win next week would get them a home game as well, I believe, because I think they're in that 8-9 spot.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, and obviously, if they can knock off Bloom Carroll, you're talking about accumulating quite a few points off that win as well. So, if Circleville would get that, I definitely think that would get them at least a home game in that first round.
Yeah, which would be outstanding for the Circleville community. Coach Sharrett does an outstanding job in his first year, and they've got some outstanding seniors as well. So, Logan Elm, a 40-7 win at Alexander, second win of the year for Logan Elm. Good for them on the road. Athens keeps their undefeated season alive. Huge one next week as they host Nelsonville York, both 9-0. TVC Ohio Championship there. Athens a 47-19 win over River Valley. Meg's a 33-8 win over Wellston. Nelsonville York, as we mentioned, stays undefeated. 54-12 over Vinton County. Waterford a 47-0 win over Trimble. Ironton a 56-7 win over Guy Academy. Portsmouth a 41-13 winner over South Point. Colgrove a 30-0 win over Fairland, and then maybe the upset of the night. Chesapeake gets their first win of the season over Rock Hill, who's all but assured of a playoff spot. 27-14. Congratulations to the Panthers. They had, I believe it was Sims Valley. They lost by a point.
Yeah, I think
it was. They weren't off early, and then it had been a really tough season. So congratulations to the Panthers. Just anytime you always want a team to win,
right,
at some point, because you're working so hard throughout the season. And then congratulations to them on getting that win. And then going back to last night, East with a 46-0 winner over Green. So that's our scores on the Norfolk Animal Clinic scoreboard. So if you need to look back at those, check it out on sosohio.com.
Yeah, you're right, John. There was some at the SOC. It looked like you said, the Eastern game. 71-52. We had Notre Dame game. So 2 games there, scoring over 100 points. If you liked offense, then that was a place to be tonight.
Yeah, it was very offensive-minded football as well. So we're waiting on a couple scores on there. So like Washington at Hillsborough is one of those scores. Hopefully we hear a final on that soon. But overall, just I feel like this was a night that we weren't 100% sure how competitive the night would be. And there were some really competitive games. Now, we had a good idea that Jackson-Miami Trace game was going to be very competitive. Those are 2 big, talented, hard-hitting teams. But, you get a little further down and you see some quality wins as well.
Right, and looking forward to Week 10, like you said, we had talked about some of those FAC matchups, kind of rivalry games coming there in Week 10. And I think one you mentioned as we were going through those scores is next week, you've got a huge game TVC wise with that Athens Nelsonville game, both undefeated, going to Week 10. Neighboring schools. I mean, that's going to be a big time game there as well.
Yeah, that's going to be a hard hitting game. And if Athens is getting healthy, because I know they had some injuries throughout the season, so that could be something that maybe could have hurt them if that game was played before Week 10, but we talked about it in the FAC, playing that rivalry game in Week 10. I love it. It's a great time to have those rivalry games take place.
I think I do. I think I have a final up to it's Washington 43, Hillsborough 21 on that game in the FAC. So.
Yeah, so a good win for Washington as they will go into next week as they are taking on Miami Trace. Miami Trace still with a lot to play for. Washington with a lot to play for because you had that big win over Granville still in their back pocket. And I'll tell you what, I didn't talk to Coach Sharrett about it. They beat Washington in week 2, so I wonder if that was a point of hey guys, that's a great win for us.
Right.
To really hammer that home of just how important that game was for any team that beat Courthouse throughout the year, and especially going into week 10, having a chance, getting those extra second level points.
Well, it's crazy to think about. Coach Sharrett mentioned when we had him on about you knock someone off there in week 1, 2, 3, And then all of a sudden you find yourself being a really big fan of that school as they're going the rest of the year. I know, for Unioto's instance that, week 1 we had Portsmouth.
Right.
And, Unioto knocked them off. And that was one of those games, like, I don't know how many second level points you're going to get from Portsmouth. But here we are. Portsmouth has got 6 wins in the year, So Coach Sharrett's right. Yeah. You start rooting for some of these teams that you've knocked off, and you're just, gosh, we need wins from these teams. So.
Yeah, now Portsmouth does have they have the control their own destiny, but they've got, they're at Ironton next week. So they're probably going to need a little help going into week 10 from some of those people that kind of helped Northwest out as well. So we'll kind of be following. That's one of those teams we'll be following throughout. Had some really impressive wins throughout the area tonight. We mentioned the Lucasville Valley. That was a big win for sure in Region 15 for them. They are now up to 7th, and it looked like they were, if they didn't win 8 games, or at least 7 before the season, we weren't sure if they're going to get in. Now they have won 7. They do go at Minford, which is a rivalry game for them, something that the SOC does as well. And they got to go on the road. They still have to take care of business there, but it looks like they may get a home game. So there is a big difference between the top 6 in Region 19 and the next 6, but that ends up being a really impressive win for Valley tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, you look, John, at when you get on the idle and on these computer points, you look at. Right now, we've got a lot of teams in our coverage area that are sitting there at that 9, 10, 11, 12. You know what I mean? Or just maybe on the outside, like Coach Crabtree mentioned earlier, just on the outside looking in. So, as we move here towards week 10, man, it's going to be one of those things you're going to be following along all night, not only on your game, but if you're one of those teams that's sitting in that spot, you're going to be watching your game and 3 or 4 of your opponent's games as well, hoping for wins.
Well, I'm looking at just Region 12. Right now, Hillsboro's sitting in the 12th spot. They are 4-5. They got to win next week against McLean. If they win that game, they'll at least have a chance. Right now, the team in the 21 spot, Greenville, which I believe is going to have a Buc-ee's. I believe it's
right.
great. Yeah.
Right, first one in Ohio. Right?
Yep, Greenville.
And we know you love your Buc-ee's, John.
Yes, I went to 2 Buc-ee's on the way back from Texas. I'm not joking. It was one in Terrell and then one in whatever that place was, and the one in Kentucky, whichever one it is. By the way, very disappointing warm food. It's just cool, but the food's awful. Like it's bad. It's gas station food, but it's also not gas station food because they have their own Buc-ee brand, and it's just not that good. But I will give Buc-ee's credit. They pay people a lot of money to work there. So, I mean, it doesn't sound like a bad place to work. But clean bathrooms. Clean bathrooms. There you go, Buc-ee's. There's their shout out.
Yeah.
We had a Buc-ee's hat on the overtime set when we were at Studio 33, but now that we're at the Sosa studio, we don't have the Buc-ee's hat anymore. But, it's jumping to Greenville. They're ranked 21st right now in the computer points, and they're not mathematically eliminated with 1 week to go.
Right.
Like, that just shows you how many teams are still in it in Region 12, and really outside of the top 6 who have all clinched a spot, including Jackson and Miami Trace, there's not a lot of separation. Now, for Chillicothe, it seems like they're in pretty good shape, but if you get some of these teams with some big upsets in week 10, it could make things a little tougher. So keep an eye on that week 10 game. Chillicothe at Jackson, that's going to be a huge one. Nelsonville at Athens, a huge one. Colegrove and Rock Hill, still going to be a big one in that area. I think it's gone down a little bit based off of the last 2 weeks for Rock Hill, but for Colegrove, still playing for an undefeated OVC, season for them, and it looks like right now they still could be playing for the playoffs as they're only in the 10th spot in Region 19.
Yeah, and as I'm looking here at Region 12, which includes a lot of the FAC teams, I mean, you're talking, Jackson right now sitting in the 4 spot, Miami Trace in the 5, Chillicothe in the 8, Hillsborough in the 12. So, I mean, right now the FAC, I mean, if the season ended today, you've got 4 FAC teams making it into the playoffs out of the 12 teams from Region 12.
And that's out of only 6 teams in the whole conference. So, an outstanding year for the FAC as a whole. But it seems like we are, the lines are a little bare right now. I'm sniffling. I'm trying not to, but I'm sniffling. So I think we're probably going to hit the road for the night. But be sure to check out volleyball streaming. I think we have it locked up, but we'll look for those announcements this week. Division, everything, 3 through 7. You're going to see outstanding district semifinals throughout the week, and then district finals in volleyball on Saturday. 3 games at Waverly High School up on the hill, not the downtown gym, but on the high school. 3 Division 5 games there. Division 6 is going to be at Wellston. Division 7 is going to be at Southeastern. Division 4 is at Logan. All of those on Saturday. High-level volleyball in our area going to be played. If you like volleyball at all, get out and check those out. We're going to have streaming at least 3 games this week, possibly more, just depending on where we're able to get. Division 3, Miami Trace had a really good win last night, as you can see on our streaming. They're going to be playing Sheridan to get a chance to go play at West Muskingum in Division 3 because there's not very many teams in Division 3, so they had to split up the district in that way. So look for that this week. Jay Bruce SVC, my Twitter account. Check that out for a lot of soccer. I'm going to be at least 10 matches, 2 each day, Monday through Thursday, and then 2 on Saturday after I cover the Southeastern districts. So if you see me, look for Raymond Gleedle because I'm a bad picture taker. He's a great picture taker, so I'm sure he'll be with me at a lot of those games as well. But look for Derek and Brock at a lot of those games, and you may see some other faces covering those games as well because there's so much high quality in our area. We got the districts for cross country on Saturday as well. And a lot of really good stuff starting to wrap up here as we get deeper and closer to November, because our saying when I was a senior in soccer was remember November, which was just get to November and be able to play soccer in November. We were able to play 2 matches in it. And it's something that, something you always remember is you make those big tournament runs. So we're rooting for these kids. Check out Haynes Total Healthcare. They've got all kinds of services for you, as we talked about with Coach Dr. Green at the beginning of the show. Open on Saturdays from 8 to 12 in Chillicothe, but you can also get a hold of them throughout the week for those services as well. So, you got anything else?
No, I think, good night. Got a few good coaches, call in with some exciting information from their games. Really looking forward to next week. And obviously next week when we're on the air, we'll probably start being able to almost nail down some of these football playoffs and what things are going to look like as we move forward.
Yeah, and hopefully we can hear from even more coaches next week, because even if the season ends next week for them, we hope to hear from them to talk about their seniors and some of the things that their kids were able to do throughout the year. So football season's great. The fall's great because there's so much going on. I know you're ready to get indoors all the time coming up.
This weather change.
I'm getting close.
Change got me itching now.
If you could hear my sniffling, which once again I'm trying to hide it, you can tell I'm ready for that to be changing as well. But we got a lot of football, a lot of soccer, a lot of volleyball, a lot of cross country still in front of us. Rooting for those kids to have a great finish of their season. So, for Jeff Miller, for Christian Spradlin, our producer tonight, for Haynes Total Healthcare, I'm John Bruce. You've been watching the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
Glow Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real, reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glow Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glow Fiber is here. Welcome to Glow Ohio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLOW or visit glowfiber.com to switch today.